Greetings. Happy and blessed Wednesday. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine in the stories that I read every day. Greetings. I think this light is really shining in my eye. Happy Wednesday. I hope everyone is having a blessed day today. I'm happy to share stories with you again today. And chose two children's books that I hope you'll like both of them. And I'll wait because I have some pictures to share that were sent to me regarding by children, actually by my grandchildren. And I'll wait and see if they log on. If they log on, then I'll share the story at that point, their picture. But happy Wednesday. I hope everyone's having a great day. I hope the children are being engaged at home in things that are keeping their minds stimulated, that they're writing every day, they're reading every day. This is a great time to teach children how to write letters and mail letters. This is a skill that many children, they don't know anymore. We do emails, we do text messaging, we do faxing. So many children don't know how to properly address an envelope, but it's a great time. Write letters, write to your aunts and uncles and cousins and grandparents, excuse me. And you can ask them questions, learn about them. I just want to share my grandchildren would write to my mother, who was 89, and ask her all types of questions about when she was growing up. And she responded in writing. So they have a keepsake from their great grandmother of things, how life was in her day. Just some tips to keep the children engaged. Keep them reading, keep them writing, and keep them engaged with math. And of course, the creative arts. Hi, Val. Good to see you again today. Hi, Olivia. So I have two stories today. The first one is called The Talking Cloth. And the story and pictures are by Rhonda Mitchell. And if you notice all the detail around the picture, these are Adinkra symbols. These are symbols from Africa. I'll show you the front and the back. Okay, the talking cloth. The talking cloth. To Mercedes, whose daddy is my brother. Aunt Phoebe has things and things and things. Oops, my fingers over the mask. A collector of life, Mom calls her. Daddy said she lives in a junk pile. Reminds me of your room, Amber, he says. Take this cover off. I like visiting Aunt Phoebe. There's no place in her house to be bored, and she always gives me mocha to drink. Daddy says it will stunt my growth. Aunt Phoebe tells him mocha is named after a city in Yemen, and this child just grew an inch or two inside for knowing that. Aunt Phoebe knows things. She tells me stories about her collection of life. Each time we visit, I sit hot mocha and listen, imagining all the people and places she has seen. Today we sit in her kitchen and she tells about the basket of folded clothes in the corner. I brought these in Africa, she says. Daddy laughed. I figured that was laundry you hadn't put away. Oh, sorry. Hi, Hannah. Aunt Phoebe smiles and takes a cloth from the top of the basket. She unfolds it with a flourish, a long magic carpet. It runs like a white river across the floor. What do you do with such a long cloth? I asked. You wear it, said Aunt Phoebe. It tells how you are feeling. This cloth talks. How can it do that? By its color and what the symbols mean. Aunt Phoebe tells me this is a Dinkra cloth from Africa, from Ghana. It is made by the Ashanti people, and at one time only royalty wore it, she says. Aunt Phoebe rubs the cloth against my face. It's silk and feels smooth. I imagine myself an Ashanti princess. Hi, Aunt Carol. The cloth is embroidered in sections and hand printed all over with small black symbols like words. A white cloth means joy, yellow, gold, or riches. Green stands for newness and growth. Blue is a sign of love, but red is worn only for sad times like funerals or during wars. Maybe I should wear red when your daddy comes to visit, Aunt Phoebe says. Daddy laughs and pours himself some mocha. He likes to listen too. I know it. Aunt Phoebe tells the meaning of some symbols on her cloth. One says, except God, I fear none. That's called Jiname. That's my favorite symbol. Another is called Obi Niyaki Obi. I offend no one without cause. Each symbol speaks of something different, like faith, power, or love. These are called Adinkra symbols. So for those at home, these are called Adinkra symbols from Ghana. I imagine cloths with my own symbols on them. Fred, he's my little brother. Should he be dressed in green for go, with grubby little handprints all over? Everyone can see what kind of a mess that kid is. Aunt Phoebe's little brother is my daddy. Let's see, she says. Guess we could wrap him in gray pinstripe cloth for seriousness with squares on it. We all laugh imagining that. I ask if I can put on the Adinkra cloth. Of course you can, baby, Aunt Phoebe says. When you're older, you can have it for your very own. She wraps the Adinkra 3 times around my waist, then across one shoulder, and still it drags on the ground. A cloth this long is a symbol of wealth, she tells me. Daddy says, Amber, you'll need to drink a lot of mocha to grow tall enough. Well, says Aunt Phoebe, this child has grown a lot inside just today. Oops. I smile thinking of it all. This cloth means joy. I am an Ashanti princess now, and here is all my family, and everyone who has ever worn it in the Dinkra gathered around me. And that's the story of the talking cloth. Again, that book was The Talking Cloth by Rhonda Mitchell. So before I go on, I want to first acknowledge I asked for illustrations, and my granddaughter and grandson sent me some. So I want to first say hi to Hannah and my grandson Caduce. We call him Juicy. And some of you know Hannah, I call her Ladybug. So my granddaughter Ladybug, but her name is Hannah, and her little brother Caduce, we call Juicy. I know her on, but also maybe Navi, Noah, and Om. So Hannah sent me some pictures. This is Hannah's self-portrait. We call her the warrior princess. I love it, Hannah. Great, great job. And then she sent me this one. And this is from Hannah and Caduce. Oh, can you see it good? It's another one. And then the third one that she sent me is this one. So I love all three of the pictures, Hannah and Juicy, and I appreciate them. To any boys and girls listening, if you want to draw a picture of any of the stories that I read to you, you can send them to me. You can have your family send them to me at Dr. Helen Tinsley at gmail.com. And I will print them and show them in my story. Okay? So make sure you do that. So I want to say hi to Valley and Olivia. Again, my grandchildren, Aunt Carol. She's a faithful watcher of my readings. Tony, my cousin Cynthia, and anyone else that's joined in. So, excuse me one second. Throat gets a little dry. The second book that I'm going to read is a one of my favorites. So these books that I'm reading today are intergenerational books. The one on The Talking Cloth is about a relationship between the girl and her Aunt Phoebe. And this one is a relationship with an intergenerational book. And during this time, many families are seeing the ability to be close to their grandchildren or not to be close because of the virus, and to protect one another. So, any rate, we all know the importance of these intergenerational relationships. So, this book is called Miss Tizzy, and the author is Libba Moore Gray. Miss Tizzy. Miss Tizzy. Miss Tizzy always wore a purple hat with a white flower in it and high-top green tennis shoes. The neighbors thought her peculiar, but the children loved her. Miss Tizzy's house was pink and sat like a fat blossom in the middle of a street with white houses, white fences, and very neat flower gardens. Mrs. Tizzy had no fence at all, but she had flowers that grew everywhere and spilled over onto the sidewalk. Miss Tizzy let the children pick her flowers. Then she gave them clean glass jelly jars to put them in, and the children loved it. Miss Tizzy's big yellow cat Hiram slept in a window box in the middle of some red geraniums. Sometimes he climbed on her shoulders and hung there like a tired old fur piece. Oops, sorry. On Mondays, Miss Tizzy baked cookies. She let the neighborhood children put in the raisins and then lick the bowl while the cookies were baking. The children loved it. On Tuesdays, Miss Tizzy made puppets out of old socks. She made a puppet for each boy and girl. They made up their own stories and put on shows for Miss Tizzy. She laughed and clapped every time, and the children loved it. On Wednesdays, Miss Tizzy played her bagpipes. She gave the children spoons and pans and let them pretend they were playing real drums. Each Wednesday, one child got to be special and play a silver penny whistle. Every child got a turn. They marched up and down the street with Miss Tizzy and her bagpipes leading the parade. Harem sometimes marched along, and the children loved it. This here is a bagpipe. That instrument is called a bagpipe. Oops, sorry. On Thursdays, Miss Tizzy gave the children clean white paper and crayons. They drew pictures of sunshine and butterflies. They put them in Miss Tizzy's red wagon and delivered them all over town to people who had stopped smiling and had grown too tired to come out of their houses anymore. Harem rode in the front of the wagon with a red ribbon around his neck, and the children loved it. On Fridays, Miss Tizzy opened her trunk and they all played dress up. There were hats with feathers and hats with bows. There were baseball caps and straw hats with bright red bands. Everyone wore a hat. Miss Tizzy put on a lace shawl and served pink lemonade in her best china cups. The children loved it. On Saturdays, Miss Tizzy put her roller skates on her green tennis shoes and went up and down the sidewalks. The children came out of the white houses and joined her. They made a roller skate train holding on to Miss Tizzy's long skirt. Harem was usually the caboose. The children made train sounds, and Miss Tizzy was the engineer. She never scolded the children for being too loud, and the children loved it. On Sundays, when the day was over, the children stretched out on bright quilts in Miss Tizzy's backyard and looked up at the stars. The tree frogs croaked their summer sounds as Miss Tizzy sang songs about the moon, slightly off key. The children didn't care. They loved it. One day, Miss Tizzy took off her purple hat with the white flower and laid it on the window seat. Then she took off her high-top green tennis shoes and placed them under her high white bed. Miss Tizzy lay down on her feather mattress. She was very sick. Harem left his window box and curled up at her feet. He did not purr anymore. The doctor came and went. He shook his head and looked very serious. The children were sad. They didn't know what to do. They missed their grown-up friend. Finally, they had an idea. On Monday, they baked cookies with raisins and brought them to the pink house. On Tuesday, they stood in the yard and held up puppets to the window. They put on a puppet show just for Miss Tizzy. On Wednesday, they brought pots and spoons, pans and spoons, and played a soft little drumming song just outside the door. On Thursday, they drew pictures with orange and red crayons and put them in Miss Tizzy's mailbox. On Friday, they put on funny hats and left the tea tray at the front door. They left Harem a bowl of cool milk. On Saturday, they put a brand new pair of skates in a big box with a purple ribbon on top and took them to Miss Tizzy. Oh, sorry. On Sunday, when the sun went away, the children stood underneath Miss Tizzy's window. They sang all the moon songs she had taught them. Miss Tizzy's hat glowed in the moonlight. She was having a peaceful dream. She heard the children singing, and she loved it. And that is the end. Again, this book is Miss Tizzy by Libba Moore Gray, one of my favorites. I just want to say hello to those that came in. So I see my cousin Lisa. Hey, Lisa. And Catherine Carter, another fellow storyteller and writer. Again, I want to showcase my grandchildren's art again. I'll give 2 opportunities. This is Hannah's self-portrait. She's 8 years old. She's the warrior princess. I call her Ladybug. And this is Hannah, and her little brother, Caduce. And we call him Juicy. He's 3. He's the baby of 5. And then this is Hannah's drawing. So thank you again. Oh, hi, Esther. Nice to see you too. Thank you again for joining me for another Read Aloud. These 2 books again, if you're trying to build a collection, I showcase many, many multicultural books, but also just good children's books. So this one is The Talking Cloth by Rhonda Mitchell. And again, Miss Tizzy, by Libba Moore Gray. So enjoy the rest of your day. I hope all stays well. Thank you, Aunt Carol. Thank you for the comments for my grandchildren's drawings. Appreciate it. I hope everyone stays well, stay positive, and just a little tidbit for today. You know, this is unprecedented time that we're in. We don't know where this is going to go or how this is going to end, but this is a message for the adults that are watching. But for those of us that are staying in, we are so blessed to have somewhere to stay in. And hopefully where you stay is comfortable and you have time to be in your space doing things that you maybe didn't have an opportunity to do. Even though our minds may be stressed out a little or a lot, take an hour a day and do something. Do something to stimulate your mind. Something that you always wanted to do. There's so many classes online for free. There's so many artistic things that we can do with found materials in our home. There's projects, there's things we can do, and things we can explore, and let's take advantage of it. You know, let's make the time during the coronavirus pandemic meaningful, so that when this is over and people say, you know, wow, that was a rough time, and then you just explode. They're like, wow, she just produced 4 books, 2 documentaries, and a children's series. You know, we can do this. Not just me, but you, all of us, we can do this. So let's expand ourselves and work through this and work together. Again, this is Storytime at 5 with Dr. Helen Tinsley. I'm coming to you every day, 24 days. No, not 24 hours a day. 7 days a week. 7 days a week until the coronavirus shutdown is over. God bless all of you. Peace.